Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life could be miserable, it could be dark, this week it could be bloody cold, so we're here to bring you, maybe not the warmth, but we're definitely here to bring you a bit of joy and a bit of light, because I'm joined by Stu. I'm Brad. How you doing, Stu?
Yeah, not too bad. It's snowy, so we'll bring some white at the moment. Oh, we always bring white anyway, because we're very white, but we'll bring some...
What, like the Ku Klux Klan?
Not white supremacists. White? No. I think if people listen back to the podcasts, that's probably pretty clear. But, yeah, it's always worth underlining these things. No, we're not white supremacists, nah.
Yeah, what white is right. That's what we say. No, that's not us. Again, that's the Ku Klux Klan, isn't it? Sorry.
Correct.
Always getting us confused. MHG, KKK, yeah. It's what happens, dyslexia and all that.
True, yeah.
Oh, this is a good start, Stu.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah. I am bloody cold, though. I'm still frozen from last night. I took Edith to watch Liverpool Women at Arsenal Women, which was a rearranged fixture. And it was bloody cold in Boreham Wood. It really, really was.
Yeah.
And I'm still cold today from that. And they lost.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask. Oh.
No, we expected to lose. It's like, against Arsenal, they're the best women's team, like historically, and one of the top three women's teams in the country at the moment, whereas Liverpool aren't. So not being humiliated was the name of the game, and we wasn't humiliated. So yeah,
that sounds like my daily life. Not being humiliated is the name of the game. Yeah.
I was going to try and put in a joke about sevens and stuff like that for any Mancunians listen, but I realised we're a video game show and no one's really going to care, so, I'll leave it.
Yeah, and then the few people who would have been painfully hurt by it, they won't be. So, yeah, that's very generous of you. But
Yeah, it's like, again, but the fact that actually made new news as well was just really bizarre.
Yeah, it's a big one. Good though.
Yeah, it wasn't just sports news. It's like it should be sports news. It's just not. It's not a big deal the world over. I'm sure Suella Braverman. Maybe the makes are hoping that Suella Braverman has stopped like Bruno Fernandes coming over. I don't know.
Yeah, must tie into world politics somehow, but we'll never know.
Yeah, I've worked out Tories actually are the most tolerant party out there, by the way.
Oh yeah, how come?
Well, they don't care the colour of your skin as long as you're a racist fuck.
This is true, yeah.
And if you ever want to prove people of ethnic minorities can be racist, just look at the Tory party. But anyway, talking of ethnic minorities and racism, I don't even know how I'm going to do this one. Indie games can be made by ethnic minorities and avoid racism, Stu. So what have you been playing? Please help me. That's the worst segue I've ever done.
Oof. Yeah, that was quite painful, yeah. Well, I'm playing a game that doesn't really feature very many ethnic minorities, to its discredit, but it's fine. I'm just still playing Resident Evil HD Remaster, so I've put about 40 hours on it now. I've done 3 completions. There's the one I talked about last week, so I did the under 3 hour speed run. I then did with Jill, and I did a Chris run, which was I can't even remember exactly the parameters now. Hard mode, no saves. So that was hard, as you would imagine. Hence the name.
Yeah,
no saves, because you get achievements for these things as well. You see, so so that was bloody hard. And then I did the hardest one of all so far last night, just finished, which was the real survival mode, and that's the one where there's no auto aim, and you remember you're in tank controls, so that makes things very challenging. It's hard mode, and the hardest part of all, the storage chests aren't connected, so if you leave an item in a chest, you have to go back to that item to collect it, which makes and the difficulty level is like hard or above hard even. It's classed as like the very hard mode. And because of the way, like with all the other categories, you can kind of do it in the kind of speedrun way of like running past a lot of enemies and just, focusing on the items and then only really fighting the bosses. But because you have to do so much backtracking in real survival, by necessity, you have to kill a lot more, so you end up fighting a lot more, which means you have to collect more ammo, you have to have more weapons in your inventory. So it's more like, if you've got good at the game, like I have, and played it a million times, it's more like playing it for the first time, where you don't, you have to run back and forth, a lot of, retreading your steps kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's good, because it's like, all of these modes, they very cleverly refresh the game for you. But yeah, no, I did it, and I did, for some reason, I don't know why, I decided to do, there's achievements for, because you can get all sorts of different endings, and you get an achievement for saving the rest of the STARS members, and I decided to do that achievement at the same time for some bizarre reason, which made it even harder for me. So I did that and got achievement for that as well. So I'm on 35 out of 44 achievements for the game, which is pretty high for me, and clearing up the rest should be fairly easy, with the exception of invisible enemy mode, which I am not looking forward to, but I'm going to do anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm still intrigued by that unconnected storage boxes. That's such a great idea.
That was apparently what they were going to do with the very original game. And I assume playtesters just went, no,
it's too
stop
hard.
it. Yeah, because it would be impossible for most people.
But it's so much more realistic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd love to see a game built around that mechanic in some way. Not like a Resident Evil game or anything like that, but just a game built around that mechanic. You keep popping up on the Steam Deck notifications saying that you play Resident Evil. You play Trevor was playing Resident Evil. Trevor's playing Resident Evil. Whereas mine, you can tell I've got ADHD because Brad's playing this, Brad's playing that, Brad's playing this other game now, another game now, another game now, another game. And that's just every 5 minutes.
Well, I saw Cricket 22 pop up.
Yeah, I'm in a niche spot. I mean, is cricket a niche one? He's in video games terms.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I'm in a niche sports kick again. I still haven't got round to rebuying a Casey Powell lacrosse yet, because it's just 15 quid's just a bit rich for what I know the game offers. But yeah, I've been playing that. I've just re-downloaded Aussie Rules Football, and I might re-download Handball as well. I've got a proper niche sports kick again.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Now, I suppose globally, cricket is nowhere near niche, is it? It's massive because hundreds of millions of people play it. But,
yeah, well, it's all the YouTube videos, like, to tell you, like, I'm looking for YouTube videos, like, on, like, tips to do with bowling and stuff like that. They're all, like, Indian based YouTubers who are doing the instructions for them.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of, not disconcerting is the wrong word. What's it? It kind of, you know, when something you hear something or you hear someone talk and it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, because you get so used to YouTube videos just being American accents or British accents all the time.
Yeah.
That I put that on and then you just get tons of Indian accents and it's just like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's great.
Not in a negative way or anything like that. I just want to point out, but it's just like, oh, yeah, of course. I forgot there's other parts of the world on YouTube.
Yeah, it's funny because you do get locked into your own little, geographical bubble.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And before we go down the morality chat, we should continue talking about video games.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because I've been playing an indie title. Have you got Brad Gaming Bingo card out yet?
Oh, yeah, I have here. It's all ready. Go on.
You can tell me whether you get a line or house here. But I've been playing, it's an unknown indie title.
Right.
It's a cute puzzler that's not very long.
Okay.
And it's very cosy.
Okay.
So that's where we're at with this one. So
yeah, that
four corners.
Yeah, gives you a line maybe. It doesn't. It's not going to be a bingo because there's no deck building element, no roguelite element.
No roguelite. Yeah, I know. Yeah. See, none of that's there. But no, it's called Konkan Coast Pirate Solutions.
Okay.
And it's like you play on this like little diorama type board. And I love the diorama boards. I love a diorama board, Stu. and you kind of have to help pirates do piratey things, essentially, by seeing how they interact and then using like programming skills to get them to interact in ways that they get to do their things. And you get like this checklist of things that you've got to follow and stuff like that. And it's just lovely. So it's, if you imagine, do you know Choo Choo Rocket, where you had the mice to be running around and you had to use drop down blocks to tell them to turn left and stuff like that?
Yes.
So basically, it's got that. So you drop down these little programming blocks on this grid, and you basically say to the ship, when you get here, turn this way, or turn around, or do this and do that. And the idea is to get them to their goal, to do what their piratey things are. So it might be to do this, or to avoid something. There might be there's like loads of hazards there. So there's like icebergs, and you might need to avoid certain ocean currents to get to land, and all stuff like that. And it's like I'm not overly far into it because I'm not very good at understanding programming languages. I'd say maybe like 20 levels in, and there's over 100, I believe, in there. And it's just like he's got these really simple mechanics, but the further you get, the more they sort of work with each other to become a lot more interactive. And I just think it's a really good take on a genre that could have happened and never did. Like the Choo Choo Rocket, it's like you had Choo Choo Rocket, and then that was it. There was nothing really after that. And then you've got your human resource machine games and stuff like that, which are really fun and really good. And then you went overly extreme to there's Actronic stuff where you need a degree in, I don't know, quantum bloody physics, and like having to actually like soak up the souls of Einstein and Tesla to get an understanding of them.
Yeah.
But it's just really, really good. It's got that balance of being something that's really simple but makes you think without making you think you're stupid at the same time, and it's just lovely and charming.
Oh, very cool. What was it called again? Sorry.
Right, I've got to look at my notes on this because it's called Konkan Coast Pirate Solutions.
Konkan. How's that spelled?
Konkan, Konkan.
Konkan. Oh, I've never heard that before. Konkan Coast.
No.
Oh, is it? Oh, is Konkan a made-up place? Is it?
I'm guessing so.
Right. Okay. It probably isn't. I'm just dead ignorant about geography again.
Yeah. It's made by. It's almost like. Honestly, we don't plan these, but the developer, it's a single developer, I believe. I don't think it's a team. I apologise if it is a team, but I think it is a single developer. It is Indian-based. And I've got to say, I don't think I've played a game without those. I don't really look at these things. But I only know that because it popped up somewhere when I was looking up some information about the game. It's an Indian-based gaming developer.
Oh, cool.
As well. And it's self-published. So, yeah, this is like true indie. We're on proper indie territory here.
I didn't think we could get any more indie, but we could. Yeah. Yeah, apparently.
Can't get any more indie than a possible lone developer somewhere in India making a small game based on a genre of puzzle game that never lifted off. You know, that's about as indie as it gets.
It is. And yeah, Konkan is a real place. I just looked it up. So there's every day's a school day. Yeah.
And we apologise for our ignorance.
Yeah, indeed. It's on the west coast of India. Yeah.
No, I'm East Coast.
Yeah. East Coast represent. Yeah.
I've got to say then, Konkan Coast Pirate Solutions, rubbish. Absolute dog's rubbish.
Yeah, there you go. Dog mess. Yeah.
Bloody West Coast. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I can't imagine the East Coast and the West Coast have beef. Not everywhere's America.
Yeah. It's a very specific use case, that, isn't it, with America? Yeah.
I mean, they might have beef, but you know, they don't. It's good beef because they love cows. Jesus Christ!
Oh no,
they do, and I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah,
I'm not. Oh God!
Stop. Okay.
Can we just title this show "I'm Not Racist"? But
you'd have to now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, aren't we? But yeah, no, brilliant. Honestly, absolutely brilliant game. I highly recommend it. Less than a tenner as well.
Oh, nice.
You know, some people might go a little bit cheaper for me to take a punt. Honestly, take a punt. If you like Choo Choo Rocket, and who doesn't like Choo Choo Rocket, it's definitely worthwhile. And yeah, I think I'm gonna play this one. I'm gonna aim to maybe do like a puzzle or two a week kind of thing. It's one of those where I'm not desperate to rush through it. It's an all-inclusive package. It's not like DLC laden or anything like that. So plenty of time for me to sit down, take my time with it, and if I complete it in a year, I complete it in a year. Just lovely.
Oh, very good.
Now, you've been playing hardware, Stu, haven't you?
A little bit, yeah. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. I won't talk about it much because it'll just bore the pants off like 99% of the audience. But what I picked up a PVM or BVM, basically a professional grade CRT TV like monitor. So think in older films when people are working on their security monitors in their office towers, those sorts of things. Yep. Yeah, and they're intended really for like pin sharp CRT, CCTV. Not really for people connecting consoles to. But
not for bloody child's games.
I know, that's right. But, there are idiots like me who want these things. And I have done it. And I did it because the guy that I've bought a monitor off in the past, who lives like round the corner from me practically, I mentioned on the podcast, was selling selling this one, this Panasonic one. And I was like, should I, shouldn't I? And it was 200 quid. And anyone who knows PVMs and BVMs will know that would be good if it was an 8-inch model. I've got a 20-inch model, and
all right.
I know. I'm whapping it out on the table at the moment. But absolutely massive.
Size doesn't matter. It's what you do with it that counts.
No, I disagree. I've got a big one.
when it comes to monitors, sorry.
Yeah, I've got a big one, and I'm not afraid to show it. But it's I like predictably I've not been able to play on it properly because I haven't got the right cables. I got some cables, and my wife quite rightly thinks I already own all the cables because that's all I ever buy, but I do not have all the right cables, and so I get
need one of those little blue cables, don't you?
A little blue cable,
yeah, that you could eat, and it'll help your monitor run better and longer.
Don't know about that.
It's a Viagra joke.
Oh, God, all right. Well, moving on very swiftly.
It obviously didn't work because I had to explain the joke. Yeah. So, yeah, moving on, Stu. Come on, save me from moving from casual racism to whatever I'm doing now.
Yeah, erectile dysfunction. It's so I've been able to stick. He demoed it for me, so I know it's working. He demoed it on RGB. Looks beautiful. I've played it on composite. Looks crap because it's composite. But yeah, the cables I've got are not the right ones. I can't get it to sync. It's just a rolling picture. See, I told you I'd be able to bore you all. But when it works, it's absolutely beautiful. The most important thing to take away is that it weighs a ton because these things don't have plastic bezels like consumer CRTs. They have solid metal bezels. So there is some plastic, but it's mostly glass and metal. And I would say it weighs about 4 or 5 stone, which is what, about... Ooh.
Probably about what my daughter weighs.
Yeah, probably about 40 kilos. Maybe a bit less than that, 30 kilos. But heavy enough. You know what I mean? Heavy enough.
I wouldn't be allowed to lift it.
Yeah. It was crazy. It is crazy heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun for me because I love this sort of stuff. But for most people, it's ridiculously oversized. It's way too heavy. It's kind of pointless. It's ancient, and it'll probably fail within a year or two. But I don't care. So there you go.
Well, when it comes to CRTs and they fail, can they be fixed, or is that like that's it? They're gone completely, or does it just depend on what fails?
Well, it depends on what fails, but most of the things that fail are permanent. So there's a couple of things you can do that will fix some issues, like replace the capacitors or replace bog standard components on the board. But most of the time, it's the tube. It's like the tube starts going, and it either starts fading, in which case you have to supply more amplitude to it to get back the picture you used to have, which is just a temporary measure. It's like taking a load of drugs to keep going when you want to go to sleep. Because they want to go to sleep, these poor things. They need their eternal rest. Or the tube just goes completely, just pops. So, these things last way longer than most consumer-grade tellies because they're the equivalent of £1,000 when they were released, maybe more than that. So they're like the highest-end product in that category that you can get. So, So it should last me a good long while, hopefully. But it's already been going for 25 years, so we'll see.
It's one of those sod's law things, though, isn't it? So that you'll get it and it'll die within a week or something.
Yeah, probably. But if it does, there are people who can do some sorts of repairs on it. So if it's worth it that much to me, I could look for a guy in the country who could do it, drive all the way there and get it sorted out. But that's very much a judgment call on the day.
Fair enough. Well, depends. If it's a high-class monitor, then it might even be worth doing to then sell on and break even kind of thing. I don't know about these things.
I will see. But yeah, as the Vision says in The Avengers, something isn't beautiful because it lasts. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Nothing. I'm not even beautiful, so, I don't last either. But anyway, right. Moving on from giant 20-inch monitors, I can take you down to a full inch.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've been playing a game in preview. Still very early on, I think this game is. It was early access. I don't know how long it's been about for. I think like midway through last year, possibly. But it's called Moonbreaker.
Okay.
And it's a turn-based strategy game. That's focused around miniatures, but it's gone full on. Like the idea, instead of just being this turn-based game, and we're going, oh look, we've got miniature-style characters. It's really embraced the miniatures. So imagine, I suppose, your Warhammer-style games, miniatures type things. There's two elements essentially to this game. So you got your turn-based skirmishes that you can do offline in single player or online. And I'll come back to these in a second. And there's also the painting element to it, where any of the miniatures you own, you can paint. And it's got a proper painting suite to it. Like, I'm talking, not Photoshop levels, but, proper. It's got all the proper tools. So you can choose different colour palettes. So you get in there and you can paint every little element of the thing. And you can go really deep. So it's not just like flat colours. You can give it a proper brushed look, like a matte look to certain parts. Other parts can be shiny. And I was just like, it's a really impressive suite of tools for doing this miniatures painting. And I've spent quite a bit of time doing the painting side of it because that's really, really, really relaxing. And you're not limited. So you basically get what would be a plain white miniature, and off you go. You do what you want. And you can put as much detail in as you want, or as little detail in as you want. And I tried it. I just took an orange and just covered one entire miniature just completely in the same shade of orange, and it let me do it. It wasn't going, oh, you've now got to do this. You could do patterns, your own patterns and stuff like that, should you wish. And yeah, the painting side of it is absolutely brilliant. And if that was a game alone, I'd be like, yes, please. Give me more of that.
Yeah.
Now, there is the game side to it as well. And it's not, it's early access, and I'm not, obviously, not a review of it. The game side of it is competent. I actually like the mechanics of it. The main problem I've got with the mechanics, just to point out, it is just like your typical turn-based you've got to move into this area. You've got to, you've got to try and win this block, and like you've got to take it over, or knock the enemy boss down to 0 health and stuff like that. All various different modes like that. I'm sure anyone who's played like Warhammer and stuff like that is probably, they know exactly what it is. But I'm trying to explain it as someone who doesn't get these games fully, and is trying to explain it to a bunch of other people who probably also won't get this game fully. But it's got single player and, I say, online PvP. But it's a couple of things I've got issues with. It needs an online connection constantly. My internet went down while I was playing single player, and it booted me out the game. It's one of those.
Oh, no.
Which is a shame. And I don't know why it's got to be like that or what the reasons are. So, again, it's feedback there that if we can have a proper offline single player, let's do it. It's a £25 game. And so far, it doesn't feel like it's gone built for microtransactions. So far.
Yeah.
But it's done in such a way that I'm going, is there microtransactions? Now, I've only really played the single player stuff, so, but there is a founders pack as well. And but it gives you, I don't even know because I haven't got the founders pack, so I'm just having a quick look now. Alternate skins, and different paints and stuff like that, which is only available during early access. Now, if it's just for that, that's fine. If it's got different paint types or different skins that you can recreate yourself with the painted, that's fine. I haven't seen anything pay to win, which is the important part of it. But if I'm paying £25 for a game, I want the game. I don't want to be buying a load of extra stuff. And it looks like a game where they placed it on the fence and will decide which way it falls closer to release. So I'm going to reserve judgment on it and give the benefit of the doubt because the gameplay's fun. The painting is incredible. But if I've got to start paying money to enjoy the painting, that will turn me off. So I don't know. But so far, I'm enjoying it tentatively. That's what I can say, I think. Cool.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good gaming aspect to have because if you want to... Because, I've painted miniatures in the past for board gaming, and it costs a lot of money to get to the point where you can paint things, where you have a wide enough palette, basically, and enough different types of brushes and stuff. So, £120 payment to do that is probably, it's not as satisfying because it's not real, but it's still a good thing. Yeah, so if it doesn't rip people off with MTX, then it should be a good idea, I reckon, yeah.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying down the line, don't, if you want to release a £10, we've got a whole bunch of new miniatures, or we're doing this, or for whatever reason. Again, I don't know how Warhammer works, and I know it's I've one of those genres that I decided I'm never going to look at in real life because I'm an obsessive, compulsive type, and I would bankrupt most of the country, I reckon, if I tried to get into that.
Probably.
So again, I don't know how it works, but if the way it works is, you could buy new factions and stuff like that to add into an ongoing game, I get it why that might be a model they'll go down. But I do want a lot of content for £25 if they are going to go down that route. And what they bring out and how it affects the games, I don't know. I don't know enough about the genres or anything like that. As I said, I'm enjoying it as someone who doesn't know much about the whole ecosystem and the games themselves. This is not Warhammer, by the way. It's just based around digital miniatures. And if this means anything, sorry, just looking at my notes here, it's based around a sci-fi fantasy theme from Brandon Sanderson. If that means anything to anyone who's into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know him, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What, personally or by reputation?
No, he's an author, yeah.
He sold you a monitor.
Yeah, that was the guy. That's the clown. He's a fantasy author, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm assuming a pretty decent one. They've not picked up like a 2-bit.
No, not at all.
That's fine. So you probably got your lore and stuff like that in there as well. So, but yeah, it's enjoyable for me as someone who doesn't get it. I'm just a bit about what could come from it and how greedy it could get. Hopefully it won't, and I'm screaming at clouds or something. I don't know.
Who knows? But
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. I'll tell you where they could really make their money. If they had a link or an option for you to send an order for them to 3D print and paint your the miniature you'd coloured. Yeah, that's where
that could be cool.
Yeah, that's where the money is. That's what they could do.
Oh yeah, Also, what? So so actually, you paint it in the game, and then they can send you the painted version.
Yeah.
Oh, could do an MHG banded one.
You see? Yeah, it'd be good.
There you go.
That's where the money is.
Do that. There we go. Unknown Worlds Entertainment is making this, so there you go. Spend out on a good 3D printer, get these out, send us a freebie, and away we go.
Indeed.
So, moving on, and just want to finish off this week on a nice positive note. Last year, me and Stu had a baby together, and that baby has just celebrated its 1-year birthday. How are you feeling about our baby's birthday, Stu?
Pretty good, yeah. The baby's doing well. It's developing properly as you'd expect. It doesn't create any real trouble for us. No. I'm quite proud of it.
Sometimes I take it out. I've got, I've bought a lovely new carrier for it as well.
Nice.
Which is, it means it's nice and safe and stylish as well.
Lovely.
I do love our little Decky. I do.
Decky, yeah.
Decky, yeah. No, Steam Deck is a year old, Stu. And I think we can say, would you agree we could say it has changed the face of gaming at a level that probably was completely unexpected this time last year?
Hopefully. I mean, me and you rhapsodise about it, and we think it has. I think it probably has. I want to see what traction it gets with the Switch 2. I see what the Switch 2 does, how much it tries to rip it off. But it's certainly changed the way I game, completely, really.
So the way I look at it, there's a couple of things that have really hit me going, actually, the Steam Deck is it now. Anything else that comes out, I don't care if it's more powerful or anything, it's going to be a compromised experience compared to the Steam Deck. Because what Valve have done, and they've learned from their Steam machines debacle, is they've just gone, right, look, we're doing one device and we are controlling the device on this. But cleverly allowed their software, their OS, to be used elsewhere. So it's a very clever move. But you've got, in a handheld, I wouldn't say perfect, but as close to perfect as we've had in a controller for a control system. Or whether we're talking like full-blown console or handheld. You've got your two proper joysticks, all the face buttons, shoulder buttons, there's back buttons, it's touch screen, and you've got your trackpads for mouse. And you could talk about, you've got the Aya Neo stuff or whatever, or the Odins and all these other ones that are £1,000 meaty machines that have got better specs, but they're compromised because they don't have all the control systems in there. And I look at it and go, well, immediately with those, I can't play certain games that I can play on the Steam Deck because I need the trackpads to play it. I won't have the accessibility that I get on a Steam Deck, because I can use the trackpad or a back button as an accessibility button. And it just feels like that what they've done is set out their stall to go, look, this is not going to be the end game for us. This isn't going to be what is the future, this one machine. This is the start. And if you want to get where we are, you've got to basically match us. Oh, and at the price as well. Because the £1,000 machines are better, but are they £500 to £700 better? I doubt it. And, you know, the Steam Deck's so cheap in video game console terms that I am at some point tempted to buy a second one just to have in the flat for the kids to play, so we can do proper multiplayer PC and stuff like that. And then upgrade it. And I just, you know, it's been so good. The software's so good. I've barely touched my PC for video games this year. I think the only time I've done it was I wanted to test out something different with the home streaming, or to make sure my Moon Deck stuff was updated properly. And my PC's being used now as just a glorified storage machine, and obviously we record and edit. We don't, I do. Oh, no, you edit, I record on it. I'm not taking all the credits, Stu.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. It's just honestly, it's brilliant. I will wax lyrical. I'm going to go and stand in like the middle of London with my Bible, my Steam Deck Bible, and sort of like proclaim the word of our Lord and Saviour Gaben, because that's how much I've taken to it. Yeah. It's just brilliant, and it's got the best launch library ever. Do you know why it's got the best launch library ever?
Because it's every game ever made, practically.
And it's your cultivated launch library. So if you've had Steam for any length of time, you've got games, and they're not all costing £60 to start with. You could build a launch library of, I reckon, 100 games for £60. If you look around. And that's an amazing launch library, and it's your launch library. I've got 2,000 odd games, and I can find something to play from day one. You can't do that with anything else. You kind of go, oh, what's available? Oh, I'll get this one with it. Oh, you know, you might be lucky. You know, Xbox is the closest where you've got like Game Pass and stuff like that, where you haven't really got to worry about buying a game. But to have, for me at the time, to have like just short of 2,000 games when this launched, I go, well, I could play a good couple of hundred of these, few hundred of these out the box. And then finding out, oh, actually, I can actually play more of these. It just doesn't tell me I can play more of these. And, you know, you then get like, it's almost like a Kinder egg as well, because you go, oh, will this game actually play? And then you give it a try. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So, you know, it's you get your meta game in there as well. And I just, we've already seen, you talk about Resident Evil. I make it sound like that's a negative thing, by the way. It's not. Resident Evil 5 has now, whether this is linked or not, I don't know, had games for Windows Live removed.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, good.
Which has then instantly made it a viable option to play on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Now, was Capcom going to do that anyway? Or has this prompted them to do it? Because there's a lot of old games now where developers are going, or publishers are going back and making it compatible. For a supposedly still niche system, that's causing quite a change in what developers do. Oh, sorry, publishers or whoever deals with that side of it. You wouldn't see that previously. No one was bothered about Linux gaming and making sure games worked on Linux. All of a sudden they are. Yeah. For me, it's the gaming ecosystem. Everything is moving. There's a big move happening, and this isn't the final form of the Steam Deck, or the future. But I think we are heading now down that path. I think it's done enough to divert the complete outlook of gaming as we know it.
Yeah, I think it has. I think there's two sort of levels to it. There's the Steam Deck itself, and I think there's still a question mark over how big that impact will be. I mean, not from me. I'm like you. I'm just like an evangelist for it. But what is indisputable is that whole, converting games from Windows to Linux on the fly. It's that agnosticism of release operating system. That's what is the real game changer, making it so that it's ridiculously high. It's like 99% of games in my experience that you can just either immediately put on and it'll work, it'll immediately come on with only very minor problems, or you just stick it into Proton Experimental or one of the versions and it'll work. And there are a tiny minority of games that are up, mostly that are older, that you have to really hack at to get them to work on it. But it's still that layer of converting things is absolutely phenomenal. And with the low cost of games and on Steam and the huge library of it, that is a massive game changer from the off. And like you say, it's already changing developer behaviour and publisher behaviour, which is great.
Even EA, I know you don't like EA for obvious reasons, but even EA went, what? Dead Space not working? We'll do what we can to help out with that. And this is an EA that went, what? No, there's no such thing as a Nintendo Switch. What are you talking about? For a good while. I say Capcom have made their games work, and just some of them that have come back and started working. I'm still hoping Sega decide to sort out things like The Club and things like that, because it's unlike with Microsoft's backwards compatibility stuff. They haven't got to do anything to republish or relicense, because all they're going is, we'll just get rid of this bit and that'll make it work, or we can get rid of this first. We could just, there's probably a button or a couple of bits of line of code they can do to get rid of a launcher that will make a game work.
Yeah.
And that's all they need to do. And Valve seem very much adamant on we are going to do what we can. Again, the weirdest holdout is probably Bungie, who are owned by Sony, who are very supportive of the Steam Deck. It's a weird situation. But I know there's a big push again now from fans of Destiny. They're starting a petition to get Destiny working. And I think that becomes the killer app almost for Steam Deck.
Yeah.
That if you can play Destiny on the go, you've won, I think, because I didn't quite realise how big Destiny is at the moment, and it's big. So I think that becomes a killer one. We're over 1 million units sold, and you can't even buy it in a shop. That's big
good.
Numbers.
Yeah. If
you couldn't buy a Nintendo Switch anywhere but Nintendo, is it as big as what it is?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be big and it wouldn't be massive, but is it as big as what it is? If you could only buy an Xbox from Microsoft, would it be big? Same with Sony and the PlayStation. The fact that Valve were able to go, look, only we are selling this, and you can only buy it from us, and it's still doing over 1 million. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty damn impressive. So, yeah.
Yes. And you can upgrade it as well. I'm seriously considering getting a 1 or 2 terabyte SSD for mine at some point in later this year, because that's the only thing, is that slight lack of storage space. I've already upgraded to 256 from 64. And it's that slight lack of storage space that does me. I would like to see not a Pro, but maybe a revision which has a M.2 slot in it, so you can just pop in and take out an SSD rather than having to unscrew it all completely. But that's me. That's maybe asking a bit too much. Or someone will create, because I know you can buy docks with SSDs in them now, M.2 drives. I think JSOCs do one. All it needs now is someone to go, well, we could do one where it attaches to the back of your Steam Deck. You don't even notice it's there. And there you go, 2 terabyte SSD, M.2 on the back of your Steam Deck. Because why not? Why not?
Yep, I agree. And I think that, if when they do revision models of it, that making it more modular would be a good idea. Or the way that they can split it out is make different tiers of, tiers of clown. No, I did different tiers, TIERS, of what you can buy into. So you could buy a Steam Deck like the one that you have now. You can buy one that's modular with the ability to upgrade, or you could buy the fully professional in inverted commas model. With all the bells and whistles, because it would be nice to have the option, like I've said before, for an OLED screen, or triggers, different types of triggers and different types of thumbsticks for different people that could be plugged in and plugged out. But yeah, I think splitting into tiers and having a range of options that you can spend more of your hard-earned if you really want to, and really pimp it out would be great. And being able to swap the drive would be a good thing as well. But yeah, there we go.
I would love to see, and this is something I would love to see, is, do you know those trackpads?
Yeah.
Have those as default on the Steam Deck, but have them removable.
Yeah.
And then you can have a trackball attachment. Now, I know you can do trackbally stuff on the trackpads, but you could take that out and actually have a trackball, or you could put in, I don't know, maybe an extra right stick for whatever reason. Maybe you want a second right stick or whatever, or you can do all these different things, but sort of then see ways we can see what creativity there is. Could you create something that makes it better, like a turning knob for something, maybe for so you could do on the fly editing and so on and so forth. All these different things. I've wanted this with controllers anyway, where the buttons are, the D-pad, etc., are removable and customizable. And the Steam Deck, again, it's a flat surface, and it's one of the only ones that seems to have the room to be able to do these swaps in and out. Again, it make doing the things I want Hall sensor joysticks at some point, and if I could just pull my one out and drop in the Hall sensor one, that'd be brilliant. So yeah, again, it's just I absolutely adore it. 1 million sold. Wouldn't be surprised if we add another 50% on top of that across the next year, maybe even double it. We've just hit 10% of every single game released on Steam. So, yeah, 10% is now either playable or verified on Steam Deck.
That's amazing within a year.
I think it's over 8,000 games. And yeah, that's just phenomenal. There can't be anyone in the world who's played a video game that can't put on a Steam Deck and go, there's nothing to play. Unless all you play is Destiny, in which case you have to wait. Even then you can, because you can install Windows.
You can.
So, yeah. But yeah, I just love it. I just wanted to, again, just celebrate what is the biggest game changer for years, I think. And it owes a lot to the Switch, because I think had the Switch not been a success, I don't think we'd see a Steam Deck.
Well, absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely. It's taken all the best things of the Switch and improved them in every way it can. So, yeah. So they went, what about Steam? What about a Switch, but less flimsy? And that's fine. But yeah, that's it. Just enjoy your video games, however you want to enjoy them, is what I say. Look, there's nothing wrong with a Switch. There's nothing wrong with an Xbox or a PlayStation or a TurboGrafx or a PC Engine or a Leapfrog, whatever they're called. Nothing wrong with any of those. However you enjoy your video games, you just enjoy them. Yes. And fathers, stick with your families. No, that's Jerry Springer. Yeah, that's going back a bit.
Yeah, I'll shut up now, Stu.
Okie dokie. Yeah, no, I love mine, and it's good to talk about what could happen with the future. I'd be interested to see what they do with the Switch 2. It's very much kind of, I think, why it's not been seen yet, why they haven't announced anything with it, and it's just that they know the competition is there, and that's going to hopefully push Nintendo to actually pull their fingers out. But anyway, that's enough for this week. So as usual, follow us on all the socials. Join us on Discord if you would like to chat about games or any other topic. And in the meantime, until next week, stay safe and stay sane.